Let's have a little look. See if I'm actually live like the video says I am. Yep, it does look like it. So, let me send the link to my colleague. Right, we've got an hour to do this. Okay, 1 hour. Hopefully it takes less than that, or just on the dot. So, hello to anyone watching. I'm Matthew, and we are going to be flying today this Airbus to Trodenheim from Gradermoen, which is in Oslo. We are flying, of course, with, if I can move the camera around, no, there we go. Of course we're flying with a Scandinavian Airlines skin. Looks like the skin by default has SEROJ on it, but we're going to be flying under the tail number DTKAM. And at the moment the plane's got no fuel, so let's rectify that situation immediately, shall we? First things first, let's get the checklist up, and I haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to need to remind that battery switches both on. There we go. External power on if available. Yep, we'll have that, please. And the engine generators both set to on. Excellent. Displaying fault, that's good. The engine bleed air switches must be switched to on. They're already on by the looks of things. APU master, I believe, is this one, so we'll turn that on. Tick. APU star on, and then wait for the word available to be lit. In the meantime, I think I can now contact the clearance here at Gradermoen. So if I remember rightly, whoops, I'll just flick the trim wheel there. There we go. I think you have to click on, oh yes, it's down here, these are all your radio settings. So let's go for, we want 121.680. There we go. And we're going to want some ground services, most notably, oh we want, okay, different radio frequency for ground, 121.905. Tune that one. There we go. Right, we're going to need fuel.
Gradermoen ground SK551, could you please send a fuel truck? SK551, a fuel truck is on the road.
Okay, so fuel's on the way. In the meantime, I guess we could do the jetway, get the passengers on board.
Gradermoen ground SK551, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft? SK551, the jetway is going to be connected.
That's all looking good. And we'll also request baggage. We're not going to need catering for this particular flight. It's only short haul. We've got a master caution because the door's open. Just ignore that. Okay, has the word available lit up? Yes, it has. So we will tick that, and now we'll set the APU bleed to on. There we go. External power can come off. If I can remember where external power is. Ah, here we go. Off. The fuel pumps can go on, which is these 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not that there's any fuel to be pumping in a minute. And the beacon lights can go on. That means we're about to start the engine. So, that's pre-flight. Just waiting for that fuel truck now. Where is he? There goes the baggage carousel. I love how they've put so much detail into this. Like they've even, like the door opens up and everything. Brilliant. There's a fuel truck right here. I don't know why. Oh, it's already connected. I see. Does that mean I can just, if I go to my fuel settings, where are they? Yes, I can change it. Okay, so let's put the fuel in. Let's go for, we shouldn't need too much. I'm going to go for about 40% full. We'll fly it light, fly quickly. Center tank, leave it empty. If you don't need it, apparently, that's the way we do things. I wouldn't know, would I? And that's the fueling done. Unfortunately, it doesn't like take time, it just happens instantly. I guess it would be pretty cool for simulation purposes if it took a couple of minutes to do, but not in this case. And so while everything else is being done, the baggage and the passengers coming on, I don't know if your comments come through live. I honestly haven't got YouTube open, so I'm not looking at it. But I will look now on my phone. Yes, I can see your comments on my phone now. Good. Good evening to you too. So, what was I going to do? Oh yes, ATIS. We want the ATIS. So let's go back to COM2. Go back to clearance, and I don't want ground services. I want the ATIS, which is 126.125. So we'll spin this back down to 125. If I was doing this really seriously, I'd write these numbers down beforehand, but it's Friday evening and I've already had a gin and tonic. I cannot be bothered. Set this one to VHF2. Oh, whoops, I've got to do that again now. Okay, 21. I'll say 26. 125. Flick that on there, okay. What's ATIS going to give me? Let's see. Wind looks good, visibility good.
Sky condition, 1,100 feet, scattered 4,100 feet scattered. Temperature,
That's fine.
14.
Low clouds,
Dew point,
good
13.
temperature, dew point's fine.
Altimeter
Altimeter's set correctly here in hectopascals.
ILS runway 1 right and ILS runway 1 left in use. Landing and departing runway 1 right and runway 1 left. VSR aircraft, say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller, on initial contact, you have Gulf.
Okay, that all sounds good. Nothing out of the ordinary there. We can do what we want. Hey Elliot, how you doing? Good to see you again. We're just waiting at the minute for the baggage truck to finish. I think he actually has. Oh yes, he's finished. Okay, so we can now detract the take away the jetway.
Gradermoen ground SK551, could you please disconnect the jetway from the aircraft?
There we go. And we can now request our IFR.
Gradermoen ground SK551 IFR to Bayern's ready to copy.
SK551 is cleared to Bayern's airport as filed. Take off runway 1 right climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure frequency is 118.55, squawk 762 tree.
Okay, so 118.55, we'll acknowledge that.
SK551 cleared to Bayern's airport as filed. Take off runway 1 right climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure on 118.55, squawk 762 tree.
SK551 read back correct. Contact ground on 121.905.
We can do that in a second. We need to do squawking 7623. That's already in the computer. Excellent. Looks like the invisible co-pilot's done it for me. Okay, so now we can request a taxi. Start spooling up these engines while that's being done. So, starting the engines. Thrust levers on idle. I've got that. Engine mode is on ignition. Engine master number 2 on. Engine master number 1 on. And now we're just going to watch the numbers down here. So N2, that is the second propeller fan in the engine. So much to go through. Yeah, it is quite confusing, I promise you. So basically the N2 number, that's the fan in the back of the engine, which is pulling the air through at high pressure and at high temperature. N1 is the speed of the fan at the front. So both of these should be... Oh, he's getting angry at me now. Yes, I heard you.
Taxi to and hold short runway 1 right via taxiway Delta Foxtrot SK551.
And now that's being done, we can get a pushback. So let's go. Where is the parking brake in this plane? I've always forgotten.
SK551 pushback request accepted.
Oh, where's the bloody... Oh, there it is, parking brake off. Okie dokie, I'm going to just quickly turn on the taxi ribbon because if I've not been to this airport before and I will get lost. So taxi ribbon on. There we go. This will just paint a little, there's some little blue arrows that I can see now that will show me where to go to follow the correct taxiway. Like if it was if it was an airport I knew like Heathrow, then that wouldn't be necessary, but tonight I will need it. Oh, good gin and tonic on a Friday. Right. We're going to need to be steered to the right in a minute, just gauging this out the window. Let's have a look out the other window. Yeah, this is all looking good. Okay, and let's steer to the right.
Gradermoen ground SK 551 requesting pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the right.
SK 551, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
Keep the push going. And in a second I'll tell him to stop. Right about there. Takes a couple of seconds for it to go through.
SK 551 requesting the end of pushback.
There we go.
Request to end pushback received.
So the engines are fully spun up, it looks like. M1 speed good, N2 speed good. Let's just open up our checklist and do the after starting. APU bleed should be set to off, because now we're running on internal power. APU master should be off, and the engine mode selector back to normal, which is this button right here. There we go. Okay, cool. Checklist is all done then. I think pushback tug is out the way. Where has he gone? Oh, he's there. Yeah, he's out the way. Let's go. Give the engine some thrust. Get us moving off the pad, and yep, we're moving all right. 1.25 miles to taxi to the gate. That is, so to the gate to the runway. That is quite a long taxi, but this airport is pretty big. I have flown here before, not on the game, but you know, as a passenger. This time, oh, it was April last year, back before coronavirus was a thing. Right, that's enough for us to get us moving. So now I'm going to pull the engine back just a tad. There we go. So how was everyone's day? I'll tell you what, I am shattered. I have had teaching year 7s, year 8s and year 11s, and on a Friday afternoon year 7s. They're great fun, but they are a mouthful. Quite the thing to chew through. Right, we are going quite slowly here. I'm going to need some more idle thrusters to get us moving properly, but not so much that I can't steer. If you can't see my right hand down here, it's on top of my throttle lever. Throttle lever. And that's how I'm controlling the thrust. Otherwise I'd have to use the mouse and be flicking around the cockpit all the time, which would be a bit of a pain. There we go. And it's saying that I should drive straight into the right, okay, this is wrong. Hold on. Hold up. Let's take a closer look at the map, because the taxi ribbon's glitched out. I need to get to runway 01 right, which I can't go through that building, obviously. So, how am I going to get there, eh? That's... Did they say on ATIS that they were using both runways? Can I change the runway? Yeah, shattered. Shattered as well. I'm glad I'm not the only one. But it's the weekend. Absolutely right. I'm going to just do a 180 here, because clearly I can't go through that building. And we'll see if I can get around another way. It's one of the things about this simulator is that although it's very good in some regards, in others it just gets things completely wrong, like this taxi ribbon. On the handcrafted airports it's brilliant, because everything just works, but on the ones that are generated by A, there's another plane. I wonder if that's a player or an AI or a real traffic. Probably real traffic actually, because it looks like it's a default skin. And you see now I'm travelling too fast on the taxiway. This is a bit reckless what I'm doing now. Need some brake. Yeah, this is problematic. This is problematic. I'm going to quickly just kill the throttle, put the parking brake on and check Google Maps. Figure out what I can do here. Let's have a look. Because unfortunately I cannot see around the terminal building. Oslo. I've got to remember where Gradermoen is now. Gradermoen. There it is. Look at it on satellite view. Oh, okay. This should all be clear taxiway, but the game thinks it's a building. That's silly. Okay, well in that case, what is this person doing? Turn off that parking brake. Whoops, there we go. Get us rolling again. I'm going to try and find another way, but if not, I will just have to use the runway 01 left, which will be against their wishes, and they'll get very upset with me, but you win some, you lose some. I've not got the energy to go and start, resetting the entire flight after all that, just because of a silly airport generation error. Oh, it's giving me a new routing now. Is it saying? Yeah, it's saying go back for myself. Let's go up this way and just take off, and that will make them shut up. Let's get YouTube back open. I can't see the comments while I was checking Google Maps. The scenery will be stunning. I concur. It should be brilliant. And that is why I am determined to just get off the ground as fast as I can. In fact, I could probably go right here. I don't need a very long runway for this plane. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. Screw it. I'm going. It's a north departure anyway. Well, east departure. So this will do. And again, usually I'd have to stop here and check. But haven't got the energy. Have not got the energy. Let's just go. Flaps down to 1. This is your captain speaking. Prepare for takeoff. La da da da. Hopefully this runway is long enough, and I haven't hopelessly miscalculated this. We'll do a rolling start. I need to stop here. Let's go. Full power. Watching the speedo. There's a car on the road. V1 and rotate. And that's it, we're airborne.
SK551, you were not cleared to take off.
Yes, I know, I'm sorry. Leave me alone. Gear up, positive rate. Put the thrust down to climb level. So on the Airbus there's a little notch there for climb. That keeps the thrust at the right level. The plane also has an auto thrust, so even though I'm not touching the lever right now, it just determines what thrust level is necessary for my particular need at any given moment, which is pretty neat. Okay, let's start easing out of this bank. Climbing through, that's 2,500 feet now, and continuing to climb. Scenery over there looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay. So, let's turn on the autopilot. See if that does anything. Yep. Okay, so now the autopilot's following the green line. That's my flight plan. We'll actually zoom out a bit on the radar just so we can see what we're doing. We'll put the speed on managed, which means it won't go above what it should do. Flaps up. So now we can go a bit faster. And altitude, we're going to set to the cruising altitude, which is 34,000. Whoa, what have I just done? Oh, for goodness sake. This is what I mean about the bigger planes. The buttons are just so fiddly. Okay, and we will go for engage selected altitude mode. And I want to be climbing at a rate of about, not 4,000 feet a minute, that's rather steep. We'll go for 4,000 feet a minute. Yeah, this is pretty steep. Okay. Ah, what have I done? I've just flicked another button I didn't want to. We'll go for 3,000 and enable that angle. There we go. So now the plane doesn't need as much fuel per throttle. I should point out, by the way, below 10,000 feet you are limited to 250 knots. You cannot go over. That's why the plane is holding steady on 250. As soon as we get above 10,000, that should begin to continue climbing. Let's have a look at the scenery, shall we? We're only a couple of thousand feet here, so we're not nearly as high as we will be, but it's still looking pretty impressive, wouldn't you say? That's a screenshot. Beautiful. Okay. Plane's following the correct path. Looks like we just got above 10,000 because the throttle's spooling up again. And there you go, you can see it's climbing now. So now we really get going. We have got 14... I don't know what that means, 14:27. Oh, that's the time. I think that's the timing game. I have no way to check it though. I'll find out later. Continuing to the waypoint, which is Lulil. 14 nautical miles. Now let's talk to ATC and try and repair our rather fragmented relationship. Bodo Center, retry of the last. Actually, we'll just get a clearance.
Bodo Center, SK 5517 miles.
Because if we get a clearance rather than a full-fledged flight plan, they won't bother me about altitude and tell me to climb at certain rates and whatever. I can deal with that myself.
One is cleared to Bayern's airport as filed. Squawk 762 tree.
Bit of a wobble there. Oh, we're still wobbling, going through some turbulent air it looks like. We'll acknowledge the IFR clearance.
SK 551 cleared to Bayern's airport as filed. Squawk 762
Now
tree.
I'm going to increase the rate of climb because we can go a bit faster.
One rate back correct. Radar contact 13,800 feet. Altimeter 29.9er, 2 turn right heading 010, resume on navigation descent and maintain 13,000 feet, keep speed below 205 knots.
Oh, he's telling me to descend anyway. Right, in that case then I'll acknowledge and then completely ignore it because I don't have the time of day for it.
On course, descend and maintain 13,000 feet.
Feels odd to see me in a bigger plane.
05 knots, SK 551.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult.
551 keep speed below 230 knots.
Oh, why? Go, just leave me alone.
Keep speed below 230 knots, SK.
Goodness sake, I don't have all day. I'm in a hurry. I'm a man in a hurry. Cancel IFR.
Bodo Center SK 551 would like to cancel IFR.
If he's going to stream at me all day long, I'm just going to tell him to go away.
SK 551 IFR flight plan is cancelled. Radar service terminated.
1200.
1200.
Oops.
Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved.
1200. In that case then, we'll just get a Class C airspace transition and fly freehand. Of course this is breaking every convention about how to fly an airliner, but I don't have any energy. Another day, maybe at the weekend I'll do it properly.
SK 551 Bodo Center. Squawk
Right, escort code
0344.
0344.
SK 551 radar contact 13 miles east of Echo November Hotel Uniform Flight Level 190.
Thank you.
Cleared through the Charlie
That's what I
airspace
wanted.
at 8551.
Clearance. Thank you. Okie dokie. So the good thing about flying an Airbus is that, to be honest, I haven't had to touch any controls in the last 5 or 6 minutes and we're still mid-climb. The plane, like 98% of the flight is an autopilot. The only bits you really do by hand are the taxi, the takeoff, the approach and the final and the landing and another taxi. The rest of it is all autopilot. Why is this wobbling so much?
Photo Center, North Shuttle 768 is climbing through 1,000.
I was going to say it was turbulence, but I'm starting to think it's just a bug. That's a pretty picture right there, isn't it?
Photo Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
That's a screenshot. What else have we got? Let's look at the surrounding area. Just a lot of clouds, really. Maybe it's too cloudy. I can always turn the clouds off if you want to get a better view of the fjords, which I probably will at this rate.
768 traffic is 6 o'clock, 4 miles at 700 feet generic. Report them in sight.
Okay, what was that? Sometimes you get this, yeah. Oh no, this is a different plane, so we're not ignoring that. We are ignoring that, rather. Sometimes if you're in a really, really congested airspace, which around Oslo is, you get asked by the traffic controller to try and spot other aircraft that are in the area.
Please expedite your climb to 6,800 feet.
Okay. Let me look at live chat. Neither.
North Shuttle 768 traffic is 12 o'clock, 4 miles at 3,700 feet generic. Report them in sight.
Generally speaking, my favourite thing to fly are the jets, like business jets.
1327 traffic is 10 o'clock, 3 miles at 1,100 feet generic. Report them in sight.
Yeah, generally speaking, my favourite is business jets, just because you have the advantage of flying high and at great speed, but you're not, like, you don't have to go a very long way. You can do short hops in them. So what on earth is the plane? Okay. Autopilot can be quite buggy. I don't know what it's doing. If it tries to nosedive me into the ground, I'll turn it off. But it looks like it's just having a bit of a moment. Yeah, okay. What now? It should be climbing to 34,000, that's what I put into the computer. Thrust climb, nav. Autopilot engaged. So it wants to level for 30,000. That's not what I want though, so I will tell it to carry on climbing. Okay. Climb at 3,000. We've also got managed speed mode on, so I'm going to now turn that off. We'll have to select their speed instead, which is going to be... We'll go for 400 and see how that goes. Once we're through the climb, hopefully that will speed up things a bit, because 320 isn't that fast. Although you can see we're travelling at that fast through the air, but our true airspeed is 385 knots, not 240, because the air's thinner. So if we were travelling through ground air, then we'd be going at 386, and if we were going along just along the ground, we're travelling at about 380 miles an hour at the moment, or 300 nautical miles an hour rather. So that's all good. This is too cloudy. Let's turn these clouds down. That is a really big cloud layer. I'm just gonna make this a bit thinner. There we go. That's another really cool thing you can do. I can just delete clouds basically whenever I want to, like that. There we go, and I can move this further lower down as well. There we go. Why is the plane? Oh, for goodness sake! There's probably a reason why the autopilot's having a bit of a freak out at the minute, but as I say, I haven't flown it in such a long time. I can't remember why it's doing this. Right, autopilot off. Let me just fly it by hand for a second. There's our altitude that we're aiming for. I would talk, I'm just really focused at the minute trying to work out what on earth does this plane want. Okay, autopilot back on. Selected altitude on. Level off the aircraft, please. And for goodness sake, speed up. There we go, right. Let's aim for 300 and Mach 086. I've got plenty of throttle, like, don't know why that's being difficult with me. Auto throttles are on. We're getting a really weird, like, shuddering. Or am I just imagining that? I think I'm just imagining that at this point. Whoa, look at that. That's a picture. That is a picture.
Overspeed.
Uh-oh.
Overspeed.
We don't want to overspeed.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
Okay,
Overspeed.
we need to
Overspeed.
reduce the speed
Overspeed.
just a little bit.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
Keep it around
Overspeed.
300 there.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
A little bit more.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
How far away from Trodenheim are we?
Overspeed. Overspeed.
Oh, still quite a way. Well, actually, it's not really a very long flight.
Overspeed.
I know you have to be out of here in 40 minutes, James, so I'll try and make it as short and sweet as I can. If it looks like I'm going to be really squished for time, then I'll just skip forward into the approach phase and the landing phase. But hopefully it won't come to that. Hopefully. Because there really isn't a lot to do in the cruise, I'll be honest. Like, as you can probably tell by now. I do really love how they, like, modelled the hot air flying out the engines. That I do love. Anyway, let's have a look at the field, shall we? I think... Well, this is Norway, right? So let me just... Oops. Weather. If I delete that cloud layer and delete... Just bring the clouds right down and make them thinner and thinner. Yeah. Thanks for your patience. I know it's not been the most smooth flight. What I probably should have done was spent this evening getting used to it again so I didn't like an idiot on live stream, but never mind. Damage is done now. Beautiful day for flying. The other thing I can do is I can, with this particular plane I've got in the showcase, there we go, I've got fixed camera positions, including some that are inside, so if you want to get the passenger experience. That one's loud. Goodness me. My favourite is usually number 4, because especially when you're landing, you get the landing gear come down and it's a really, really satisfying angle. So where's the other? That's, yeah, 12 and 13. 12 looks over the wing from behind, 13 from just in front. So we'll leave that on there. Share about the funny reflection thing going on here and that. But still, yeah, all good. Nice to kick back on X. Absolutely. I needed to. Oh, look! We're really close to him, aren't we? My goodness. I'm going to just quickly actually flick back to the free camera and try and capture that. I don't think I've ever been this close to another airliner. Would you look at that? This will look good on Reddit, won't it? We're actually going slightly faster than we've overtaken, obviously. Of course, we're in a hurry. Right. I think once we get to around... Actually, how far have we got to go? Does it tell me? Probably does somewhere, but I've forgotten again. Cruise, nav, ground speed, 481 miles an hour now. We're going super speedy, but we're burning through quite a lot of fuel. Look, that's changed. I'm pretty sure that's the time in game. 6.5 miles until the next waypoint, so we're closing pretty quickly. Let me look at. Oh god, how do I use this? Flight plan. There we go. Okay. This looks different to how I remember it, to be quite honest. I wish I knew what I was looking at. There's been an update, clearly they've changed the way this looks. It used to be different. Because it was like, a lot of it was inoperable. Like certain pages didn't do anything because they weren't needed when the game was launched, but now it's been launched out. It's been out for a couple of months, they've patched it to put all the non-essential but, you know, quality of life improvements in. Which, good on them for doing it, but now I don't know the way around the FMC. Which is a shame. That looks nice. Okay, well, I don't know how close we are. Let's see, what? 47 miles. Okay, I will begin descending at 30 miles out. That sounds about right to me. I've also set us up to be on an ILS approach, which essentially means as long as we line up properly on these waypoints, the plane will fly itself all the way down up to about 100 feet, and then I take over and do it. Stunning, indeed. I think next time I'll find an actual fjord, like I'll Google it properly, find 2 airports near it, and then fly low over it. But yeah, for mucking about, this has been alright. The big mountains over there, maybe that's a fjord. Honestly, I don't know. I've only been to Oslo, like the city centre and the surrounding like hills, but never to any of like the more icy parts. Like I guess the fjords are probably sort of around here, right? All these deeper rivers. I wouldn't know. How far to the next waypoint? 38. So beginning descending in 8 miles, because we will descend pretty quickly. Anyways. See what we get if we try to retry the IFR.
Center SK 55122 miles east of Echo November Tango Yankee. Request IFR to Barron's ready to copy.
SK 551 is cleared to Bayern's
that was easy.
Yep. Squawk 0344.
Co-pilot's already on it.
SK 551 cleared to Barron's Airport is filed. Squawk 0344.
SK 551 read back correct. Radar contact flight level 340. Continue to VMOD turning and following heading 350, resume on navigation descent and maintain flight level 220.
Okay, they want us to descend to 22,000 feet. So let's do that, shall we?
Navigation descend and maintain flight level 220 SK 551.
22,000. We'll descend at a rate of about 3,000 a minute.
Maintain 14,000 feet.
40. Oh, okay. Should be even lower than that then.
Descend and maintain 14,000 feet SK 551.
There we go. Still holding this speed, so hopefully. Oh no, hang on. What have I done? What have I just done? Uh-oh. Whoops. Why does it not want to spend? No, don't.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
I've hit that, haven't I?
Overspeed.
Turn that down.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
Gotta remember how I do this now. I think it's just a case of Yeah, okay, now we go. Vertical speed negative 3,000. Climbing down to 14,000 altitude. You can see it's in blue
Overspeed.
to represent.
Overspeed.
Stop overspeeding!
Overspeed.
Slow down!
Overspeed. Overspeed.
Good news is because it's all auto throttle, I can just flick the dial and I don't have to jiggle out of this dial or anything like that. It just does it for me. Cool. Okay, so we've got to be at 14,000 feet. That is quite a long way down. At 3,000 a minute, that would get me there in about 5 minutes, just over. So yeah, this is not too steep a descent. It's about, I think it's pretty typical for what you see on a regular flight. Around about now your ears will start to be popping.
North Shuttle 768, you are 45 miles south. Descend and maintain 17,000 feet. Keep speed below 220 knots. Expect ILS runway 27 approach via Zelda transition.
That's not me. I'm not North Shuttle. That's someone else. Nothing to worry about there. Now, how do I... We'll turn on the flight director. That just gives me a cross to say where I should be flying at. And once I get closer, I'll turn on the ILS and the localizer. And also approach mode. I think that just puts the radio on the right thing. Honestly, I don't know. Usually you just press the button and it works. There's, I'm sure, a more scientific way, and I'll go and look at the tutorial and figure it out later, so I can do it with more confidence and just press the button and pray. We'll see. We'll see. It's taken quite a while to descend, actually. We've got 14,000. Yeah, so about just around 5 minutes to get down the rest of the way. Although we are really getting close now, so I'm going to actually reduce speed a bit more. Whoa! What the hell? Nope. Less speed, thank you. Switch back to knots because we're not really flying in Mach anymore. Slow the plane right down, and I'm going to just ever so slightly increase the rate of descent to get us down a bit faster. Where is Trodenheim? I think it's somewhere in this field, right? Yeah, the airport's actually there, which means, in other words, I'm way too high at the minute. But hopefully if I fly slowly enough and descend quickly enough, it will not matter. Let's pray. Half an hour to go until 9:30. I think we should be on the ground by 7:30, with any luck. God willing. There's a plane right in front of us, actually, on the same. Oh, he's not on the same path. He's flying a different direction. So we've got to go through Rotger, Decel, Zilda, Tikmu, Nevos, HG. Is that? Oh, sorry, FI-27, and then the airport ENVA, which is Trodenheim. I still can't see any lights, but that's probably because it just hasn't rendered in yet. But now the sunset's coming in and everything looks lovely, doesn't it? Let's get our lights ready. We don't need a strobe. Nav should be on. Landing lights, we'll put them. We'll leave them more attractive until we put the gear down. Nose light can be set to off. Yeah, the rest of it looks fine actually for now. Here we go, banking now. There's some mountains down there. I don't know how it comes so naturally to you, James. Like the talking part. This is the bit I don't get. I don't talk to myself. Like if I wasn't streaming, I'd be sat here listening to some music or podcast or something and just quietly taking it all in and thinking. I just don't know what to talk about, you know? I feel like they're professional streamers, they all just get it, like it comes naturally to them. For me it just really doesn't. Anyways, 14,000 feet, we're getting closer. I imagine that as soon as we get there, they'll tell us to descend again. About another minute and a bit to go. Yeah, it was never really cut out to be an entertainer, I don't think. Oh, there's another plane there. He's going in a different direction, it seems. I'm all full of it's quiet, your chat is good. Well, I'm flattered, but I don't believe it is, really. Where is the airport? It must be... like, that's the headland. I think it... is that it? Is that the runway right there? That little strip of... I reckon that's it, you know. But it's on completely the wrong compass heading, if that's the case. Unless there's a second runway that juts out at a funny angle. Is there? Oh yes, there is. So that's the second runway that we're not going to land on. And this here is the main part of the airport. We're still way too high. Expecting any second now for the people at air traffic control to say descend again. Probably to about 5,000. And then of course the speed limit's limited to 250, so I'm actually going to dial the speed right back to 250 now in advance. Get us flying nice and slow, ready for this approach. Let's put this down to 13,000, shall we?
SK551, you are 20 miles southeast.
Yeah, 7,000.
7,000 feet, keep speed below 220 knots. Expect ILS runway 27 approach via Zilda transition. Cleared to Zilda. North Shuttle 768, contact via Ern's approach on 118.6.
Okay, sorry.
551 descend and maintain 4,700 feet, keep speed below 220 knots.
I'm well aware I went quite quiet there, there's a lot to focus on.
551 descend and maintain 4,700 feet,
busy.
keep speed below 220 knots.
118.6 for North Shuttle 768.
Bringing the speed right back, we're going to go flaps 1. That will slow us down. Immediately it's going to say we're overspeeding, but that's fine. Let's try and fly about 200. You can see that's the runway, but that is not the one. This one here is not the one we're going for, it's this longer one. And for some reason we're flying way off course. I don't know why that is.
SK551, did you copy?
Yes, I copied. Holy moly, everything's going wrong at once. Okay, okay.
Descend and maintain 4,700 feet.
The autopilot's still on, but it wants to fly me in completely the wrong direction.
Approach via Zilda transition, cleared to Zilda SK551.
Cleared to Zilda. Where is Zilda?
SK551, contact via Ern's approach on 118.6.
Zilda's there. Why am I flying in the wrong direction? Managed heading. No. Local lights. Okay. Approach mode's on now.
SK551, did you hear my last transmission?
Yes! Go away! I'm busy!
118.6 SK551.
What have I done? Why is it flying off course all of a sudden? Right. Oh lord. This is not good. Okay. It can be saved. It's just going to take a bit of time for me to figure out what exactly is going on.
1 band's approach. Continue to Zilda as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Oh my lord. Okay. 7,000. It's leveling off, at least. So we're flying over the airport now. Okay. Looks like to level off. The bit that I don't understand is why the plane just refuses to fly on the correct heading all of a sudden. Did I press something? Don't you dare take it out on the tower, you might...
SK5,
You offered this.
below 210 knots.
I am going to take it out on the tower. They are so annoying.
Speed below 210 knots.
I am below
SK5.
210 knots. That's what I mean, like... Oh, for goodness sake. Okay.
SK5,
Leave me
1%
alone!
4,000 feet.
Oh, I know how to descend. Just let me do it.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet, SK551.
4,000. Right, cool. Great. Oh my lord, no.
1 you are 5 miles southeast of Bearns. Contact Bearns Tower on 119 decimal.
Right, sorry, I'm flying this by hand. I'm fed up with this.
Scandinavian
turn around.
4581 descend and maintain 6,200 feet.
Okay.
Tower on 119 decimal 4 SK551.
Descend and maintain 6,200 feet. Scandinavian 4581.
Tower.
Scandinavian 45.
Right.
Bearns Tower SK551 3 miles southeast inbound ILS runway 27 approach.
SK551 Bearns Tower. Cleared ILS runway 27 approach. Altimeter 29 decimal 9 2 and 268 at 8.
Okay. That's my pass and entry.
Cleared ILS runway 27 approach SK551.
Right. Coming round for my circle loop now. We can see that Decel Adexa. Yeah, so I need to just keep banking. Hold steady. Horror games are a little different from flight. That's true, I suppose. Well, it is. There's no supposing about it. But at least with a horror game, like you've got things to talk about, like about how scared you are or whatever. But with this, it's like, I mean, when the plane's in cruise, there's really not a lot to say. At least I don't think so. Anyway, is the autopilot still on? I don't want it to climb, but like I'm trimming. Look, I'm trimming, pushing that back, and it's overriding me. So I don't know why it's doing that exactly.
Bearns Tower, North Shuttle, 76814 miles, southwest inbound ILS runway 27
No.
approach.
Okay, I turned the autopilot on and immediately it just goes. Ugh!
North Shuttle 768 Bearns Tower. Cleared ILS runway 27 approach. Altimeter 29 decimal 9 2 and 268 at 8.
At least it seems to have leveled off properly now. Thank God for that.
Cleared ILS runway 27 approach, North Shuttle 768. Bearns Tower, Scandinavian 45819 miles, east inbound ILS runway 27 approach.
Sounds like Trodenheim's busier than I thought it'd be.
Scandinavian 4581 Bearns Tower. Cleared ILS runway 27 approach. Altimeter 29 decimal 9 2 and 268 at 8.
Right, yeah, this approach has been royally fluffed. To reset, we're going to have to go quite wide and long.
Cleared ILS runway 27 approach, Scandinavian 4581.
Okay.
Scandinavian 4581 cleared to land runway 27. Wind 268 at 8.
Cleared to land runway 27 Scandinavian 4581.
Again, not a lot to say really at this point. If the plane had just flown itself properly. I mean, to be fair to the plane, I was way too high, and it probably got confused because of that. But Yeah, that's on me. Anyways, looks like we're coming up to our final set of approach markers here. So, in a moment, we can begin to spin around again and get on that correct approach path. Everything's tuned up for the ILS. So in theory, if I turn the autopilot on this far back, it should recalibrate and work out where it's supposed to be and then fly properly. I will try it once I'm on top of that green line because I do not want to do it beforehand. It's saying, let's see, runway 2. Yeah, so it's on the, according to the plane, I've gone through all these already. It's just immediately cut them through, taken a shortcut to the runway, which for some reason it thinks is 0 nautical miles away. Although that's probably because I flew over it. So yeah, at least pretty shortly I should be getting the glide slope information, but it hasn't appeared yet. The glide slope reference is this little pink arrow. When I'm at the right distance from the runway, it should turn into a diamond and start coming up, rising upstream. Hit that yellow arrow, and that's when I know I'm at the right altitude. Likewise, the localizer is this pink one here, and that one's again is saying I'm too far from under given direction. So need to level out for that as well. It'll all become clear in a minute. I've done it before. Like when the game first came out, I did it quite a few times, and I haven't really touched it since because I just fell in love with flying small planes. Right.
Scandinavian 4581 exit runway when able.
Entering that holding pattern now. Speed's good. Height's good, I think. Thing is, I should really be at 7,000 feet, not 8,000. The plane again just doesn't want to fly properly at the right thingy. So I don't need to touch the throttle lever because it does auto thrust.
North Shuttle 768 cleared to land runway 27. Wind 268 at 8.
There's a diamond, so as long as I keep that on the yellow line, I'm flying correctly. And once I'm on it properly, I'll turn on autopilot and see if it figures things out properly. Now things get interesting. Right, there's my diamond. Let's keep it on that yellow line, pulling up, pulling up. That means I'm at the right altitude now. So there we go. Hold that there. Now we just wait for the localized diamond, which is also pink. We'll start to fly onto my screen hopefully any second now. So we come over this mountain top, looking lovely tonight with the sunset as well. Just look at these colours. Goodness me, I am just always blown away by this game. Never fails to amaze me what they did. Right. Let's try autopilot on, see what it does. Is it going to be playing ball? No, of course it isn't. Okay, right. In that case then, stop speeding up, slow down. Looks like I'm doing a hand landing. I was hoping to show you the ILS. I'll have to do it another day. It looks like I'm flying the Airbus by hand all the way down to the runway. But at least, given that it's an Airbus, I've got plenty of instrument aids to help me do that. Without these, I'd be utterly stuffed at the minute. Where's the runway? I can't quite see it through those clouds. Where's that localized diamond? Come on, localizer on. There it is. I see the runway. Perfect. Okay. I'm not sure. There's my diamond. Right. Here goes then. That's a really quite nice approach actually over these mountains. If I hadn't really fluffed it, this would be a lot of fun, but I'll try it again another day. Right, so we're dead center on the localized diamond, we're dead center on the descent diamond. So now we just hold this attitude and we should come down perfectly. Okay, if I turn on autopilot, I'm going to try it one more time. Approach. Come on. Work, work. Is it actually going to do it? I think it's actually doing it. Yes, okay, it's flying the localizer. Good. So yes, autopilot will now bring the plane all the way down to the ground. We've got flaps on 1 already. As we're getting pretty low, I will go to flaps 2 in a second. We'll put speed on managed. So now the plane works out where it should be already. Look, it's saying 170 knots now, so speed comes right back. Auto trim and auto throttle work out, so that even though it's bringing the speed back, it's trimming the wings so that the pitch of the plane remains constant. It doesn't start freaking out on the altimeter. Those diamonds are now, well, that one's perfectly locked in. This one's still a little bit to the left. Maybe there's a slight wind, I don't know. We follow this approach. Any second now we should get a landing clearance. So I'll keep an eye on the ATC. You can see the puppy lights over there, 2 white, 2 red. It's all looking good. Let's go for gear down. 2,500, that's the radio altimeter coming alive. So even though this altimeter is reading 3,100, radio altimeter is the one that's directly beneath the plane. It's sending a radar wave down and bouncing it back up to work out how high we are above the given terrain, not just in terms of above sea level. That's gear down now, so we'll go flaps 2. 160 knots. Coming in nicely. Once we're at about 100, I'll probably take control back, or maybe just slightly above. Oh, I forgot how much fun this can be. This is the best part of any Airbus flight.
2,500.
Radio altimeter is calling out again, I think, because we're going over some very hilly terrain. It will call out 1,000, and then it will go 50, 40, 30, 20, and then it will say retard, which isn't meant as an insult at my awful flying. It's meant to be like pull back on the stick, basically.
Flight 51 cleared to land runway 27. Follow the aircraft on upwind. Wind 268 at 8.
Is this an aircraft on upwind? Apparently there's an aircraft in front of me. I don't see it though, so unless I'm blind. Anyway, we'll accept his landing clearance. Thank you very much, ATC. Oh, there's a. Is he on the runway right now? Well, that could be a problem. 8 minutes to go until you have to say goodbye. Well, looks like we're going to get there in time. At least land. I don't know about taxi to the gate, but we'll see which gate it gives me. Getting nice and low now. That's a good view, isn't it? Look at this. Okay. It's now I've given the autopilot a second chance. It's brought us all the way down very nicely. It's kept that localized diamond right in the middle. Diamond right in the middle. We'll go flaps now to, I think, 3. Yep, flaps 3. You can see 1,000 feet. The pitch comes right back because, again, we're changing the angle of attack of the wing against the ground. ILS beacon's usually right, like a bit further down the runway, which is why we're now showing 3 white. Plane's flying close to its minimum speed without falling out the sky at this point. 140 knots, nice and low. Getting ready to take control back from the autopilot.
$500.
500. Right. 400. I'm taking control back. we're actually a bit high here, as you can tell from the puppy lights.
SK551 go around.
Oh? I don't know why it's telling me to go around, but I'm going to ignore him because don't have time. 200,
100,
100,
60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard.
SK551, please acknowledge.
oops, bit of a bounce. Spoilers. And there we go. We're down. Whew. Probably made ATC very unhappy again.
SK551, did you copy?
But screw ATC. So let's talk to them now and apologise. Yes,
Going around SK551.
going around, but I'm on the ground already.
SK551 contact. Barron's approach on 118.6.
Okay.
Going to 118.6 SK551.
That was a pretty clumsy landing, I'll be honest. I can do better than that. I'm blaming the gin. So, ground services. Let's tune the ground station. I can't be bothered to do it on the FMC. Taxi to gate.
Barron's ground SK551 taxi to the gate.
Flaps can come back up.
SK551 taxi to gate 2 via taxiway Alpha.
Oh, only 0.33 miles. It's not too far.
Taxiing to gate 2 using taxiway Alpha at SK551.
It's down. That's all that matters. Quite. I'm glad you agree. I'm very glad you agree. I mean, if I was being like hyper realistic, I'd have done the go around, but it would mean I'd have to stay in the sky for another 20 minutes probably, if not more. I'm not sure what's any one of these cars. So I'm guessing there's a tunnel here. Like the road goes underneath the runway, but the game hasn't figured that out and thinks there's a road in the middle of the taxiway, which is quite funny. Won't lie. But hey ho, thanks to the 3 people I think at one point who were watching this. Thanks to you, James, thanks to Elliot, thanks to the random stranger who I don't know that joined in. Almost there now. Just the last 200 yards or so of this taxi. Thank God Trodenheim is a smaller airport than Oslo Gardermoen. What airport? What plane is that? Korea? I don't know what Korean Air is doing here. Especially in a little plane like that. Like, you know, if it was a 787, I'd understand, but not in a little Airbus. Balling. You had 5 at one point. Did I really? Oh goodness me. Rising up the ranks. Right then, final turn. In. I'm going to sit up in the seat so I can see the bloke who's going to start waving sticks at me. A bit more throttle to push us all the way. Looks like the pushback tug's already here. There's our man with the sticks. Come closer, come closer, come closer. And nearly there. Throttle back. I can't see him anymore. Is he still waving his sticks at me? What? No, he's saying stop. Okay, good. Parking brake on. Now how do I turn this thing off? I guess engine's back and God. Oh, that was it. Okay, well there we go. That will do for now. I guess that concludes the stream. I'll do another one probably later in the weekend, we'll see. But for now, I'm going to make some dinner. Thanks for watching. Have a nice evening. Has that worked? No, I thought I turned it off. Whoops.